co-host of the College Football Overdrive Podcast, and he's a good friend of the show. He is Fred Perdue, man. Fred, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Hey, Fred.
We're doing great. We're excited. Your team, one of the key figures here in that first round, so that's why we wanted to have you on tonight and kind of help us guide us through what they're thinking, man. And so I'm looking at it like this, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like there's 4 realistic options here for New England. Mm-hmm. Jaden Daniels, quarterback LSU, Drake May, quarterback North Carolina, J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback Michigan, or trading out. Rank those 4 how you want it to go, and rank those 4 in order of likelihood for New England.
First off, Jaden Daniels is out. I'm sorry. I'm not sold. I know, Shane, you love him. I can't. Drake May, I'm slowly falling away on. The mechanical issues, feet just bother me. Accuracy issues galore. And the crazy thing is with him, it's simply, at the end of the day, he was still the best player available on their team. If he's not there, they're a 3 or 4 win team. Trading out is an option. Marvin Harrison Jr. is hard to go away from. So I would say Marvin Harrison Jr. would definitely be the best option here. Trading out is probably second. I know it's blasphemous to say that to Patriot Nation because we need a quarterback, but Drake May is 3rd, and by default, Jaden Daniels is 4.
What do you think will happen then, Fred? That's kind of what you would do. Now look at it from you're prognosticating what's going to happen in the NFL draft. What do you think is the likeliest scenario, least likely scenario for what the Patriots actually will do?
Quarterback is where it's at. If you don't have one, you're, as we've seen, whether it's Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, anybody not named Tom Brady over the last couple of years, you're not in contention. And in a division where everybody else seemingly has a quarterback, whether it's Tua, Josh Allen, who keeps losing weapons, or old man Rodgers, everybody has somebody. We don't have anybody. You have to take a swing at quarterback, especially now when you have a premium pick. Drake May is the option, is probably the best option. Jaden Daniels is just a home run. If he's available, he's the home run swing, because if you're aiming for the fences, he has all the tools to be Lamar Jackson-esque. You can't really go wrong with either. I think both should sit, but that would definitely be the best option, is quarterback.
I noticed you're conspicuously not saying anything about the other quarterback I mentioned, J.J. McCarthy.
Yes, I purposely left him out. Shane, I know you definitely want to leave him out. J.J. McCarthy, for me, it's not that I don't think he's capable. I just haven't seen enough to warrant him being the 3rd pick overall.
I mean, that's fair. I completely agree. I have a second or late second round grade on him currently right now.
Oh, you're generous. You're very generous.
I'm much lower on him than my compatriot Shane is.
Look, I have come around on McCarthy after going back in, and like during the season, I didn't think much of him, but going back in and watching, his third down plays percentages, third and long plays, is some of the best in college football. So I have a late first grade on him. Like, he's going to go higher than that, I would imagine. Let's talk. So let's talk next tier for you. Let's say the Patriots trade down, or maybe take Marvin Harrison Jr. like you want. What about kind of the next 2 on the list? Both are getting first round buzz and hype now, right? Bo Nix from Oregon, Michael Penix Jr. after his great pro day workout, ran in the 4.5s after those knee injuries from Washington. How do you evaluate those 2 players, Fred? And do you think either one of those would be a fit with the Patriots?
So the thing I think New England wants to keep is a similarity of offense. I necessarily don't think you should. I think you should probably be a little bit more forward thinking with what they want. Alex Van Pelt, you saw what he did in Cleveland. They're pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. Michael Penix is the better player, but his body doesn't say that. Bo Nix, Shane, we've had this conversation. I did not believe in Bo Nix for about 3.5 years. And I still believe somebody else is under that helmet. That's not Bo Nix. That was somebody else. That's somebody's imposter. Because for 3.5 years, I saw a different person. But Bo Nix has shown me, I think you can't go wrong with either. Michael Penix throws the ball down the field a little bit better, accurate at all three levels. I think he could. His age, it's not his age. It's his body. Really, it's the lateral quickness. It's not necessarily straight line speed that bothers me. It's his knees. Do I really want to give you even a second round pick? Is that worth 4 to 7 years? I'm not sure. Bo Nix, we just didn't know, could he throw the ball down the field, really? I mean, what they did at Oregon doesn't really completely translate to the league, but it's enough. I've seen enough tools that maybe I pull the trigger on Bo Nix, and I think Bo Nix might be the better prospect long term.
I mean, that could be fair, I guess. I've just got a note here, and it's why I like the trade down as being the best. I don't know how far you would want to go down. Mm-hmm. I think the farthest is Minnesota with their 2-1s or whatever. More likely, maybe the Giants at 6 coming up, if that is indeed the case. But I wrote down here the Patriots roster's in bad shape. I mean, this ain't a quarterback away team, right?
No.
So to me, just stacking picks is probably what they should be doing, right?
The Belichick way, definitely. If any time, this is the time to stack the picks, build the team around. I'd even have living down here in Tampa. I remember a certain weapons for Winston kind of approach. Go get the weapons and then surround that player surround that team with that quarterback. That may be the option. There's a lot of holes to fill, and it's not just receiver. It's not just running back. It's not just tight end. It's across the board. Really, the cupboard is bare until everywhere except the secondary.
So, I think the Patriots were almost more to me than the Bears and the Commanders are in that kind of full rebuild, which maybe leaves some of those options on the table. I'm going to switch gears. You are a Miami Hurricanes fan, so I'm going to talk about some of these Hurricanes prospects. I would say it's been a rough offseason for the Miami Hurricanes prospects in this draft, right? I mean, Leonard Taylor, Cameron Kinchins with a very poor workout. James Williams, I thought was going to work out better. What's kind of your evaluation of those? Are kind of the top 3 to me from Miami. Kind of your evaluation of those players, and do you think this offseason hurts them?
Yeah, Leonard Taylor. I said it, and I told you, we text all the time, Shane. His motor runs hot and cold, and when it's hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it's ice cold, and he lacks effort. I mean, the hands, and it's not just it's game to game. It's infuriating actually, because such a talented player just doesn't produce with the God-given ability that he has. I look at what he should be and what he hasn't really done. He was very much disappointing. Cam Kitchens, you asked me a question, Shane, about 2 years ago. You said, is Cam Kitchens going to be that next Miami safety? And I told you, I don't think he is. I don't think he's athletic enough. I don't think he'll test well. And he had an All-American season last year or 2 years ago. And that looks great. But when you see him test, it's like, oh, he's the guy I remember giving up the deep ball against Georgia Tech. that's the guy I see every time. And he is exactly what you thought he'd be. I didn't think he'd be a first rounder, maybe a second rounder. He might plummet even further than that. And James Williams, they finally figured out how to use him, but he's just not the athlete we thought he would be. The big 6'5" safety. He's embraced playing linebacker now. If you want to say that now, if anytime this is the time, he's gonna have to put some weight on and probably play some special teams to really get some real legitimate snaps. He's not Sean Taylor. I know everybody wants to take every big Miami safety and say he's Sean Taylor. I remember Ray Armstrong years and years ago. They tried to make him the same guy, almost the same mold of player. It just didn't turn out to be what it was. He wasn't what we thought he'd be. Just not the athlete we thought.
I'm glad you brought up James Williams. He was one of the guys I was really looking forward to at the Senior Bowl, and
Same.
just because I knew he was going to convert to the linebacker, and he just looked completely lost out there, and and he looked like he was getting just out athleted on the practice field, and then you see his testing numbers. Kinchin's the same way. He struggled at the Senior Bowl, and it seems like it's just been a downward spiral for him this entire offseason, from Mobile to Indy to whatever it was at his pro day. It's just been bad on top of bad on top of bad, and I think he's a day 3 pick now. I don't think he goes in round 2 or 3. I think he falls to day 3. I mean, this was a weak safety class that he had a chance to separate from, and he just got worse.
Yeah, he got worse, and like I said, I think he is a lot of what we saw again in the Georgia Tech game was basically everything we thought he'd be all in one, and that was a bad game for everybody. But how do you let somebody get behind you if you're this? He'll knock your head off, but what else? Every Miami safety can do that. I mean, you can go down the line, all of them do that. Can you cover somebody? Do you have the foot speed? I don't know what went wrong, but Cam Kitchens is not who I wanted him to be. And maybe down the line you guys will see another Miami safety, but right now those two guys, they are not up to par.
2 more Miami prospects I want to hit on the offensive line that kind of intrigued me. Javian Cohen, the Alabama transfer, had I thought a good Senior Bowl week. Workouts were decent, and then Matthew Lee, who I didn't think too much of, had a really good workout. Green Raz score, the whole 9 yards. What do you think about their pro prospects? Maybe potential draft range for both of those players.
We'll start with Cohen. I thought coming in, I didn't know what he would be. He left Alabama because he wanted to be a tackle and came to a place where they develop offensive linemen, or at least to a coaching staff where they develop offensive linemen. Coach Mirabal and Coach Cristobal, they develop them. I mean, you see what they're doing with their guys that are now in Detroit, and Powers Johnson, also another one, a Cristobal legacy guy from Oregon that he left at Oregon. Those guys tend to be pretty good. He stayed on the interior, which I think was the best move. Even Coach Saban kind of told you, look, you're not good enough to play on the outside. It's okay. You'll make a lot of money playing on the inside. Had a very good season. Had a very good workout. Matt Lee, the transfer from UCF, also he was a big shot in the arm for the team, and his workout was really good. Really, one of those guys that could be a starter and definitely anchor a team for years to come, for sure. I was not expecting the workout to be great. I figured he'd just be solid and potentially give a team a shot in the arm, or maybe be a developmental guy. But he definitely exceeded everything all the expectations that he had.
I'm glad you talked about Matt Lee. I had wrote him down to talk about because I went back and watched his game against Florida State, and I thought against that defensive line, against Braden Fisk, I thought he more than held his own and had a great game. that week as well. Is there anybody else from the U that we might need to have on our radars for this year's draft cycle?
This year's draft cycle, absolutely not. Next year we might have there might be some offensive linemen for you, but this year, this Canes team has been fairly average. Down the line, you guys may have some very good defensive linemen, the Mezzadors of the world. In 2 years, you may have the Reuben Baines of the world. But right now, as it currently stands, my Canes have not a lot to give to the NFL, unfortunately.
Dang,
that's not good.
No deep sleeper there. Well, let me open it up then for you, Fred. I always like to ask the guests if you have any sleepers, any players, maybe day 3 free agent guys that you've watched and been really impressed with that you want to kind of get out there into the world. I always love giving you the soapbox to do that.
Guys that I like, I've been intrigued by the wide receiver group this year. Shane, we've been talking about receivers. I mean, back and forth. It's very top heavy. I think a lot of the receivers are, for lack of better words, body catchers. Running backs. Actually, I'll say this. Dylan Lobb caught my attention before the Senior Bowl. Very much in the Danny Woodhead mold. And when I saw him, I was like, man, that's Danny Woodhead right there. I mean, it was instant. It was literally instant, and everybody got a chance to see him. You guys got a chance to see him in the Senior Bowl. Quarterback for me, I thought Michael Pratt, Tulane, might be a guy. Definitely might be a guy for you guys as far as sleeper quarterbacks. You guys kind of figured out about Quinion Mitchell really early, so he's no longer a well-kept secret anymore. So, but yeah, definitely the Dylan Lobb, the running back.
You kind of get everybody's attention when you have 290 receiving yards in a game.
Exactly.
Against an FBS opponent.
Exactly.
All right. So, last question. We'll leave you with this. Clock expires on pick 3. What has happened?
With the 3rd pick, the New England Patriots select Drake May, quarterback. I have to live with it. I may want to trade down, but I'm not pulling the trigger. But definitely Drake May at quarterback. You gotta have one, and you gotta go get after somebody else's. So go ahead and fill step 1 of that.
There you go. Write it down in Sharpie, baby.
Yeah.
Drake May to the Pats. Fred, man, appreciate you coming on. Tell everybody where they can follow you and find your stuff.
Thanks, guys, for having me on. You guys can find me on Twitter, Fred Perdue CFB. You can also follow the show, CFB Overdrive, with me and my guy, Rick Brown. Going to be revamping some things, and we'll be back with you guys coming right after spring practices. We'll be right back on things with you guys there.
Sounds good, man. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll see what happens 3 weeks.
Definitely, guys.
3 weeks from tomorrow.
3 weeks from tomorrow. Go Patriots.